Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have some hot news that you can't miss, so get ready because there's a lot of important information coming your way. Before we begin, we'd like to take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and stay up to date on all the news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which greatly strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the most passionate fans of the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news.
Commanders shaken by the violent collapse of a young defender's rise. It seems the future is written on the walls. The Washington Commanders are, thankfully, on their bye week. At this same time last year, fans were dreaming of a possible playoff run. This time, the story is completely different. There's a lot of blame to be assigned. That said, Washington's defense showed significant improvement over previous weeks against the Miami Dolphins after coach Dan Quinn took over from Joe Witt Jr. The Commanders are especially betting on the growth of their longtime players after the change. Some of these players, including defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw and cornerback Mike Sinerstill, despite the poorly executed punt return in the fourth quarter, had positive performances. Others, not so much. Commanders warn Quan Martin after disappointing campaign so far. At the start of the 2025 season, safety Quan Martin was considered one of the Commanders' top breakout candidates. He had a great performance at the end of 2024, solidifying his starting position and making big plays during Washington's drive to the NFC Championship game. Notably, he intercepted a pass and returned it for a touchdown in the divisional round win over the Detroit Lions. Martin was expected to be one of Washington's top prospects. Instead, he regressed. The loss of Jeremy Chinn in free agency and Will Harris's injury placed a greater burden on the Illinois-trained player, and he has struggled in coverage and tackling. The problems of the 2023 second-round draft pick persisted on the NFL's inaugural trip to Madrid, and Martin's snap count dropped significantly. The third-year pro was on the field for only 66% of the Commanders' defensive plays, well below his regular season average of 92%.
Internal Commanders source reveals what was kept secret about Jaden Daniels' return. Jaden Daniels' second season hasn't been as good as his first. That would be an understatement, and it's all thanks to the injury problems suffered by the Washington Commanders' starting quarterback. Daniels suffered a knee sprain, a mild hamstring strain, and a dislocated elbow in the 6 games he played this season. The wear and tear and his playing style took their toll. Whether this will result in a change of approach going forward is debatable, but the most important point right now is whether he should return in 2025. The Commanders are 3-8 in their bye week after reaching the NFC Championship game last year. The playoffs are over, as is any hope of finishing the season with more wins than losses. Washington's next 6 games will be for evaluating the roster, although coach Dan Quinn isn't throwing in the towel by any means. Internal Commander source takes sensible approach regarding Jaden Daniels' possible return. Although the Commanders haven't placed Daniels on the injured list, his situation remains precarious. If he returns to play and gets injured again, the consequences would be catastrophic. At the same time, he needs to extract something positive from the season, and there's no substitute for experience in a competitive environment. Ben Standig, a journalist who independently covers the Commanders, thought that bringing Daniels back for a few games could be more harmful than beneficial. But if he receives medical clearance with 3 or 4 games remaining, that seems much more feasible. I can't imagine him going back to Denver. After that, we'll have to see what Dan Quinn tells us. Do you put him in to play anyway? I've come to the conclusion that yes, as long as there's enough time for the games to be relevant. He needs experience, he's a young player and all that, but one game doesn't mean anything to me. 2 games, I don't know, maybe. But if he can play the last 3 or 4 games, that gives him a boost. That gives him a chance to really try to fix some things and get going to gain momentum for next year. Ben Standig via the Team 980. Will Jaden Daniels return to the field when he's healthy? At Ben Standig and at Kevin Sheehan discuss whether the risk is worth the reward. That's the sensible way to handle the situation. Daniels will want to come back soon, but the Commanders need to recognize the reality of the moment. And, in the end, the player who is the franchise should be treated differently. As Standig said, it all comes down to the momentum that can be generated.
The Commanders are making a major roster change by signing the former 49ers starter. The Washington Commanders are making significant changes ahead of the bye week, signing the former San Francisco 49ers kicker to bolster their special teams. The Washington Commanders arrived in Madrid seeking an international victory, but instead left Spain extending their losing streak to 6 games after a crushing 13-16 overtime loss to the Miami Dolphins. Facing constant difficulties, the Commanders are making important changes ahead of the bye week, desperate to regroup and finish the season with more than 3 wins. The team's most immediate move is to release veteran kicker Matt Gay and replace him with Jake Moody, a former San Francisco 49ers player who most recently played for the Chicago Bears, in the hopes that Moody can revitalize the kicking unit. The decision is no surprise, as Gay's difficulties were evident, having converted only 13 of 19 field goals and missed 2 crucial kicks in Sunday's loss to the Dolphins, which could have altered the outcome of the game and potentially ended the Commanders' losing streak. The Commanders are placing their hopes on Moody, who is signed from the Chicago Bears practice squad. Ironically, Moody's most memorable moment came against the Commanders in October. In Week 6, Moody replaced the injured Cairo Santos and had a solid performance, converting 4 of 5 field goals, including the game-winning kick in the final second, which secured the Bears' 25-24 victory over the Commanders. He proved it wasn't a fluke when Moody replaced Santos again in the Week 7 game between Chicago and New Orleans, making all 4 field goal attempts in the Bears' victory. A reunion in Washington. The move to Washington represents a reunion for Moody. He joins Commanders general manager Adam Peters, who is the 49ers assistant general manager when the team drafted Moody in 2023. He also reunites with his former 49ers teammate Deebo Samuel. This season has been a perfect storm of setbacks for the franchise, marked by painful losses and injuries to key players like Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. While trading the kicker might seem like a small adjustment, it solves a problem that has directly cost the team some wins. As they continue to search for any positive momentum, the hope is that Moody's proven decisive performance and his familiarity with the new front office can provide